What's up, boys and girls? It's your guy Radical. It is time for episode 2 already of the Behind the Creator podcast. If you guys watched the first one, you know I don't like them long ass intros where my poor guest is just waiting to talk. So let's jump right into it. Behind the Creator is exactly what the name says. I want to talk to some of my longtime friends that I've met through YouTube and content creation and share their stories behind, in this example, the username Torisu, and help you get to know a little bit more about the person Tristan himself. So my boy, that was weird to say. That was weird to just say Tristan. I've always called him Torisu. But my boy Tristan, how are you, man? Like you've been away from content for a little bit. This is the first time a lot of people are seeing your face. Like how you been?
I've been busy. So busy with everything, but I'm getting there. It's all good. It's all a part of, getting through life outside of content and then making the content and then, yeah, we all go through it.
For sure. Dare I say, it's all part of the grind. Hey, if you know what I mean, All right, so for those that do not know, Torisu, aka Tristan, my boy is out in Australia. He's actually never been to the United States. You can fact check me there, but I'm pretty sure that's what you had told me. So this man, like, in his own world compared to what many of us are used to. And I've always found it super interesting off camera to just ask him about Australia. I'm like, is it as bad as they sound? Are the kangaroos knocking at your door? Like, right off the bat, what has it been like just growing up in Australia? What's life like out there? Just for someone that has no idea, what Australia is all about. Someone that grew up in some random small town in the US, they only know American culture. What has growing up in Australia been like for you?
Well, I mean, I grew up in a small town too. So we have Australia, and then right below it have a little island named Tasmania. And that's where I grew up. That's where I first started doing like content. That was like my hometown. And we didn't have a lot of people there. It was quite different. It's funny, it's actually quite different to the mainland, which is what we call Australia. We called it the mainland. And people were different. We were sort of a little bit more backward compared to people that lived in Melbourne or Sydney or, Brisbane, like the bigger places. It was just a completely different vibe. But I suppose, we're all Australians, so we all still have like the same like attitudes, same it was pretty hard growing up, as an Australian, I guess, especially like back then going to school. If you were like into anime or into gaming or anything, that you are a loser, you suck. Nobody likes you. But nowadays it's chill. Like, you can go to school, you can love all that stuff. People are super accepting, which is like, yeah, it's good. It's good to see.
Yeah, definitely becoming a lot more modern and accepting. I mean, I do feel like that is definitely a big similarity in the US. Like, the whole anime thing, just anime in general, was just so frowned upon growing up for a lot of us. But now, like, any kid in school, like, he shows up in a Tanjiro shirt, he's the coolest motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's different. But first and foremost, you said Tasmania, correct? That's the
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Is that like Tasmanian devil from like
Yeah, that's the Tasmanian devil, and those things are fucking scary, man. Like, you listen to a Tasmanian devil cry so here's the story. When I was a kid, I lived out in the farm, right, with my grandparents, and I was sleeping one night, and outside of my window there was a Tasmanian devil, and it screeches. It sounds like the devil himself, and it screeched. I shat myself, bro. I was so scared. I'm like, what the hell is that, Mum? And she's just like, oh, it's just a Tasmanian devil. I'm like, that's not a Tasmanian devil. That's a devil.
It's the devil. That's crazy. Like, okay. Since we're already breaking into that conversation, like, here in America, all I feel like most of us know about Australia is like we come along a TikTok and it's like these massive ass spider webs and like a kangaroo runs by and everyone's like, fuck Australia, I'm never going there. Is it really like that? Like, is that really Australia? Like, just wildlife everywhere? Like, is it as bad as it seems?
Yep, the spiders are probably... Okay, so I saw a spider probably a week or two ago. this big. I'm not even joking. This big, just chilling up in the corner of like the veranda outside. We get them everywhere. Cockroaches are massive too here.
No.
Yeah, we got some nasty ones. This is just like probably like that big, just flying around. Yeah.
No, and they fly.
They fly. Yeah.
Yikes. What about like mammal wise? Like obviously, like are kangaroos crazy? Like are they everywhere?
They
like,
can be. They're dangerous. So I remember they usually live around like the bushy area. So if you live in the bushy area, you'll see a lot of kangaroos. But I remember when I first moved here to Brisbane, I was walking my dog and she started to act funny. I was like, you know, what's going on? What's happening? And then out of the corner of my eye comes out this 6.5-foot kangaroo, stood up and was coming closer. And I was like, oh, hell no. Started to jerk up. My dog's gone nuts. I'm like, nah. Picked up the dog, started running. Because they will hit you. They'll come up to you and they'll like start punching on and then I'll kick you. And the force of the kick is so strong, it'll literally tear your body in half.
That's crazy. And that's just like walking on the street with your dog.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
That's definitely a whole new world. Like here, like we got squirrels, man. Like that's
we got them squirrels.
Yeah, we got squirrels and flies. Like that's about as crazy as it gets.
What about the raccoons, the trash pandas? Do they?
Okay, that's true. We do get a lot of raccoons, but that's like nighttime in America is where like the creatures come out. We'll get like at least here. I'm in Massachusetts. That's where like we get the coyotes, we get the raccoons, possum, stuff like that. I assume like Tasmanian devils would be your nighttime creatures? Like
no, so actually we don't see as many of the Tasmanian devils because they were going extinct. They were very close to becoming extinct, and then this wildlife safety program brought them back and repopulated. But it was mostly possums. We have a lot of possums here too. Those are some crazy motherfuckers too. Those guys,
they're ugly, man.
Oh my god! If you get scratched by one of them here, you'll definitely be getting something. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean they do just seem like dirty in general. Like, I wouldn't trust that.
And magpies. Oh my god, magpies.
Oh, what? A magpie? That sounds like food.
Magpie.
What is that?
Yeah, it sounds like it's a bird. A magpie's a bird. It's a black bird. It kind of looks like a crow, but they're so smart. They're such smart, but they're so dangerous. They are very aggro. They will swoop you as soon, like, if you're in range of them within 20 feet, they'll see you, they'll come straight for you.
They target you, like, for no reason?
Target you,
like...
Yeah, they're very territorial. Regardless of whether they're breeding or not, they're very territorial. They'll come after you straight up.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Dude, like, I mean, like, we have, like, birds of prey, so, like, hawks and stuff, but, like, a hawk attack is so rare. Like, I think, you know, I'm about to be 25. In 25 years of living, I think I've heard of, like, 1 or 2 hawk attacks. If I will step outside my door, and I have the risk of being attacked by a bird at any moment, I don't know, man.
Yep. So people here in Australia, when they go bicycle riding, they have to wear helmets with spikes on them because the magpies will literally swoop them and they'll take you off your bike because of the power of them hitting. So you wear the spikes to make sure that they don't hit you.
That's crazy. I swear to God, I've actually never heard of this. Like, ever. Like, this is brand new information to me. So, like, they're the size of like a crow. Like, they are a larger bird.
Yeah. And they will all come together. So it might be rare to find one, but you might find 3 of them, and they'll all come for you. They'll gang up on you.
Yeah. Have you ever personally been attacked?
Yeah. A few times, actually. There was once
casually.
Yeah, once there was. I was walking in an oval field with my sister, and they started swooping us, and we had like a cricket bat, and my sister was like swinging it around because they were coming for us, and she was like this close to just knocking it down, but we had to bolt because they'll fly really high and then they'll swoop in, so it's hard to like run away because it's nuts. Wow. Remember the first episode of Pokemon? With Ash dodging the Spearows. That's what it was like.
Really?
Dead set.
Really? Holy shit, dude. Okay, so clearly, in terms of wildlife, Australia is very different.
Yup.
But are there any similarities? Like, how much American influence is there in Australia? Like, I guess culturally, influentially, like, is Australia kind of more on its own? Like, you have your own celebrities and influencers, or like, everyone's watching whatever the US is putting out?
Well, funny enough, it's actually quite mixed. We do have a lot of like Australian-based things, but a lot of the things we also take from like American perspective. So like celebrities and stuff like that, everyone's talking about American celebrities because that's a worldwide thing. But we do have like our celebrities here, like smaller like shows that have like big time celebrities from Australia that that people pay attention to. Music in general though is very American. Yeah.
Really?
They're like, yeah, everyone loves, like, people come in, they'll be like, hey, I just went and saw Post Malone, I just came and saw Jason Derulo, or, G-Eazy. Wow. Everyone loves G-Eazy here, like, Lil Pump.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. There's so, like, yeah, especially rap. Rap's a big thing in Australia. And a lot of people love just, like, real gangster stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, do those artists often come out to Australia, like, for their world tours? Like, but it would have to be like what, Sydney, right? Like one of the major cities.
So even here in Brisbane, we've had quite a few people. Actually, what's funny? In Tasmania, for such a small island, I would have never thought that there would be big artists. But we've had like Skrillex, we've had Post Malone, we've had Macklemore, we've had like a lot of big artists come down there. But yeah, it's usually like Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne, and Perth. Those are the big places that get the big artists. Yeah.
And then continuing the whole conversation about like American influence, do you feel like the American dream exists in Australia? Like in general, like is there a big population of just like, I gotta get out to America, that's my future? Like, does that exist?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No, we're very multicultural here. It's not like Australia, like like we're like, yeah, we love Australia, like it's sick as bro, but like we're not like, hold your guns to your chest, mate, and eat your meat pie and shove it up your butthole kind of thing. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. But yeah, everyone loves Australia here, and like we don't just hold to one side. It's usually like, because we have so many different like races that live here. Like it's insane how many different people live here. It's very multicultural. Yeah.
And has it always been like that, or it like only recently is getting more diverse?
I feel like it's more or less, probably even after 2020, after COVID hit, a lot of people started moving to Australia. Yeah. So it was very multicultural beforehand, but after that, there was so many people just rolling in, and every day we see more and more people coming through. Yeah, and they love it here. They'll come in. They'll come here for a holiday, and they'll stay here for a visa because they'll be like, this is great. Before I lived here, I lived in student accommodation. So we would have people come from, like, international students would come over to study in Australia all the time. And all my roommates, whoever came through to live with me in my common, like in the common area, were always like, from India, from Egypt, like heaps of people from everywhere around the world.
Wow. Okay. That's I don't know. I mean, I definitely feel like here in America, I've heard of a lot of like international students that end up going to Australia. Like, it's definitely becoming more of a destination. And especially when I was in college, I knew a couple people that like went out there. Just they're like, hey, fuck it, Australia's my spot. So I've never been. I definitely want to get out there. But with that being said, if you've never been to America, what for you like is a reason that you'd really want to come visit, something you really want to see? Like, have you done any research towards it, or you're just kind of, I'll be there in the future and see what the adventure brings?
Muya.
Muya, yo, but they closed the one. Like, they closed the Muya. But
no, that's BS, man. I can't believe they did that. No, but there's so many things. Yeah. But there's so many reasons why I want to go over there. I just want to, like, see and feel how it is to be in a different country, and how much of a cultural difference it is. Like the way people dress, the way people act, the way people say things. Like, if you came here, you would be thrown back at how chill everyone is and how emotionless people can be as well. Like, you can walk up to someone in the street and, like, if you having a bad day or something like that, the other person will be like, she'll be right, mate. She'll be all good. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I've always wondered, going over to like America, like how people would be, what the job system's like, what, opportunities are like, food especially. Like, I'm a big foodie, so I had Taco Bell a week or two ago, and I gotta say that shit was good.
That was your first ever time at Taco Bell?
Yep. Yep.
Wow. That's the stuff that fascinates me, is like through YouTube and traveling across the US, like there's so many fast food chains that just don't exist in other states, let alone in other countries. Like, Taco Bell is everywhere in the US. So for someone to say that they haven't had Taco Bell until a week ago, that's so cool. Like,
yeah.
What American fast food chains do you still want to try that you just haven't had exposure to?
Five Guys. Is it Five Guys?
Yeah. The burger place?
Yep. I've heard that it's amazing. People come over to America and come back and be like, if you're going to go somewhere, go to Five Guys. Their chips are the best.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'd love to try...
But then you guys... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to I wanted to try Wendy's as well.
You guys don't have Wendy's?
No. Like, we have Burger King, but funny story, so we have a Burger King, but it's called Hungry Jack's. And the reason why it's called Hungry Jack's is because they couldn't get the branding name for Burger King because there was already one in Australia. So they couldn't claim the name, so they had to change it here in Australia.
Wow. But you guys have McDonald's.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Macca's Macca's is completely different here.
Really?
So your large is our medium. Your medium is our small.
That doesn't surprise me. Americans and their proportions are pretty gross.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wendy's just doesn't. Okay.
There's a bunch.
Yeah, no, like.
So when I used to watch Smosh, when I used to watch Smosh as a kid, they'll always do these episodes where they would go out and eat foods, and they'd go out to all these takeaway shops like Sonic, and there was so many different ones that they would like name off the bat, and it's so weird to me that you guys put foil over your burgers, like foil and stuff. And I was
little things like that I just love. Like, it's just so shocking to people.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god,
that's just a thing.
That's so crazy. Like, we just wrap it with like this like paper stuff, and the fact that your paper is made out of, your money's made out of paper.
Yep.
Ours is like full on, like it's plastic.
Damn.
It's like so much cooler. It's like what you guys have, but then it's laminated, and also like our money. So like we have $10 note, $20 note, $50 note, and $100 note, and all of them are completely different colors. So like we've got a $5 note as well. They're all completely different styles, colors, everything. Yeah.
Really?
And they're see-through.
They're see-through. Nah, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I was staying with my best friend's uncles over the summer, and they had like a currency collection of all the places they've been through. And any of the ones that had color and were transparent, those were my favorites. I was like, this is so cool. And then you look at the boring ass American dollar, it can rip. Like, America, man, it's not all it seems. I'm telling you. Man, so for someone like me that's never been to Australia but would be interested in it, minus the horrifying bugs, what are some of the fast food spots, restaurants, or just like things that like I would have to check out getting out there? Like, you only have it in Australia, this is your time to try it, or you're never gonna.
Do you like sushi?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sushi here is so good, man. It's always super duper fresh. It's so good. Courage chicken as well is always so juicy. Like I had some yesterday and I was like, oh man, this is so good. And because, like I said, we're very multicultural, we have butter chicken, mango chicken, and it always so good. Like we have so many crazy things. Oh my god, it's like, it's nuts. We'll have, you know what a meat pie is like? A meat pie, yeah?
Meat pie, yeah.
Yeah. So somebody in the world in Australia decided they'll make different versions of it. So you have a lasagna meat pie, you have a spaghetti meat pie, you have a butter chicken meat pie. Oh, so good, so good. And like we have smaller like chains. Like I remember years ago, you and I were talking about it. There's a place called Milky Way. And that place sells
I remember this conversation.
Yeah, they sell the craziest
Yeah.
foods, like deep fried mac and cheese burgers, Mars bar burgers. Like they have all these crazy things, like Lamington gelato bars. It's nuts. Hubba Bubba cocktails. Like it goes. The list goes on.
Bubba.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's so exciting. Like I'm not trying to be like a fanboy right now, but just like. This is the kind of stuff that I feel like I live for, like different countries, different perspective, different foods. Like it's so exciting. Like
yeah.
Just something as simple as putting foil on your burgers. That just doesn't exist in a whole other country.
That's so
like, it's
crazy.
So fascinating. Like, and then for me, like it was crazy before even like getting onto content creation. Like there's like a comic store here called Newbury Comics in Massachusetts. You just expect that everyone just knows it because you're like, oh, I've been going there like every Thursday, every Friday, like it's my comic store.
Yeah.
And then you talk to someone like Torisu or one of the N10 boys or any other person that doesn't live here in Massachusetts for me, and they have no idea what the hell Newbury Comics is. It's the same thing in Australia. I'm sure you have so many little mom and pop stores that like you just knew your whole life. And then you talk to someone and they're like, what? Where?
It's
such a cool concept. But before I just continue to fanboy about Australia, I feel like I want a more personal question, and that is, how do you feel like growing up in Australia, especially with a huge interest in content creation? Has that benefited you, limited you? Like how is it as an Australian content creator? I know you guys do have PAX Australia, so you do have some conventions, some exposure, but do you feel kind of like FOMO, like you're missing out with most stuff happening in like the States? Or
it's a bit of a mixed bag, because like in Tasmania we didn't really have much of that. Even being a content creator when I was living in Tasmania, it was very backward. So if you were a content creator down there, people would look at you like, wow, okay, you're wasting your time. Beautiful.
Damn,
it's
harsh.
one of those things that's like, if you say you love to make content, you're a loser. But around here on the mainland, it's still a little bit weird. Like if you went up to someone who was just like, I make TikToks, or I'm an Instagram influencer or a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer, they still look at you a little bit funny. Like, okay, you don't have a life. That's just the way it is around here. And it's always been a little bit backward. But I tell you what, in the last couple of years after COVID, we had a massive jump in conventions. So a lot of conventions have been happening. We just had Supernova, and they had the voice of Ash Ketchum there. One of the guys from some zombie show. Not Last of Us, but some
Walking Dead.
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay,
Come down here. Like heaps of people always visit, like big famous stars, and you do meet a lot more content creators when you're like exposed in those areas. But apart from that, I doubt ever you'll run into one. Even with like openings, so like midnight launches, you don't really see content creators.
Okay. So actually, those midnight launches, are we talking like you guys don't have a GameStop, right? So like just like whatever Australia's local
We have like EB
game store,
games, yeah, but they don't
EB
really,
game. Okay.
yeah, but they don't do midnight launches anymore around here. They don't really do that stuff anymore.
Was it because of like COVID or just like in general, like it never really was too much of a thing?
The last one they probably had that I remember was Smash Ultimate.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're talking like half a decade now.
Yeah, bro.
Years,
Yeah. Like it just they just stopped doing it. I think it might like could have been because of like, you know, popularity issue. There wasn't enough people rounding up for it, or they just lost interest in doing it. So it just become obsolete.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, you've at least still stuck with content creation and all that after all those years. Like, how did you kind of keep motivating yourself? Like, even when that was your environment where it was kind of, I don't want to say frowned upon, but just not as popular around you, what did you kind of have to like do to dig deep within you to like keep posting that next video, like still press live for the next live stream? Like, how did you kind of overcome that challenge?
There was two things. The first one was probably I never wanted to feel forced into doing something I didn't want to do. And if there was something I really wanted, I just wanted to chase it. And I'm sure every influencer feels that like gush of energy flow through them when they feel that success happen. Like, you know, you open your stream, you see the numbers, you have like 9-10 people that actually care about watching you and they like your stuff, and it motivates you to just keep on going. It's like a drug, you know, like I gotta keep doing it. I gotta find out what's the next thing for Torisu or Radical, you know, like that's just your plug. That's everything to you. The part where people frowned upon me, I had a lot of it in my family as well, especially like with my ex. Like it was pretty bad. Like you obviously know the situation, like it was pretty bad, but you know who pulled me through it? It was the N10 boys. N10 boys really like struck through and helped talk about it, helped motivate me, you know, like always keeping on top of watching streams, making sure it was like, it felt always back and forth, like with the boys, including you, you know, like I always had such appreciation. And I was like, I don't ever want to lose that. And I feel like it's always been like that burning flame where we'll always be the boys, even if it's like, you know, we go back since flaming off, I don't know, like 2016, man, like it's years ago, but like it's always been the same. And that's what's always motivated me to think it's not happening for me right now, but I will get back to it. And I've said that like 16 times.
No, I mean, it's hard because then life happens and you have all your pursuits and everything. But even with, you know, like I've taken my fair share of breaks. I've given you my fair share of trauma dumps. So like, I think it's cool that even though we have yet to meet in person, you still are just able to form such a strong bond with someone who literally lives in a whole nother country across the world. Like, I definitely think that's just what, you know, Discord and content creation provides. And it definitely sounds like, at least for you in your case, like you definitely took that to heart and valued it, and it helped you, you know, continue pursuing it. And you definitely feel like a lot of your connections became like pretty close, I would assume. And you know, it's cool to get to just catch up with them and see, oh, yo, how was your week? You know, like have human interaction. Like
and like, you know, we don't always talk. We don't talk every single day. But like as soon as we start talking, it's like everything's just, you know, back to where we were. Nothing's changed and everything. And that's the best part about it. Like I've never really had any beef with like the boys and stuff. We've always been like such a compact and like such a good community. And like it's great. Honestly, it's even like talking about it with my girlfriend. She was like, "Oh, so what are you doing?" I'm like, "Man, I'm catching up with my boy Radical. I haven't spoken to Matt in ages." She's like, "Well, where's he from?" And I'm like, "He's from Boston. Like he's all the way across the country." She's like, "You got friends across the country?" I'm like, "My N10 boys, they're spread out everywhere." But like that's the best thing about it is I have friends all around the world.
It's such a cool concept, and it's just like, like your parents, my parents, like just didn't exist. Like we adapted to how life is now in like 2023, and even 5, 10 years ago with the digital age popping up. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you didn't expect to get such deep connections through, just posting videos about Nintendo games. Like,
Yeah.
like with that in mind, since it can lead to such positive experiences, what would you say, like, if there's some kid in Australia right now and he would love to become a content creator, what's just some advice you'd give to that kid? Like, that you wish you knew when you first started?
Don't give up. Just keep going. Like push through that grind, Like it's all about the process. It's all about being consistent. Consistency is key. If I can give one piece of advice is even though you might feel like it's breaking or something's not right with your content, you just got to keep pushing because eventually the more you push, the more you put out, the more people come back. And so I did a study a couple months ago, and this is when I was streaming, right? I was just like, if I could consistently stream for 2 months, I'm gonna see where it leads me. And so I did that. I was streaming Pokemon games for like 2 months. I was making shorts out of them, put them on TikTok. I was doing the whole thing. I gained like 20, 30 people that stuck around, and then I ended up hitting like 150 subscribers in that time just because of my consistency. That's all you need. Like you seek out the friends that I seeked out, and made along the way, and keep them close because it's always great to have that inspiration from other perspectives. So everyone in the intent, we all have different mixes of how we create, and that's the best thing. Like we can sort of pull from each other and inspire each other in different ways.
For sure. So definitely connections and consistency. The 2 C's of content creation right there.
Yep, 100%.
Connections and consistency. With a pretty deep conversation now about Australia and content creation, what other pursuits that maybe, someone that watches the Torisu channel, what other pursuits do you have going on that like some people just may not know about? Because as we've said, life takes over. Sometimes we go weeks and months on end with not being able to really catch up or communicate just because we're so busy. So what does like my boy Tristan have going on in life right now? It's so weird. I gotta force that
out. So at the moment, I'm literally about to finish my diploma for graphics design, and originally I was gonna use it. Thank you. I know, so good. No.
Whoa, okay. Feeling himself.
I was gonna use that, the diploma, as a part of like branding myself, for the future, and then I thought to myself, like, I'm stuck at a computer constantly, and I don't want to constantly be on the move for always being on a computer. So I got myself an iPad and I started drawing, and I was like, love to do some anime drawing, just get my perspective of my imagination onto a screen. And then once I figured out how to do it, once I manipulate it and do it in my style, it became addictive. And so I kept doing it. I'm just like, I could do something with this, but how would I do it? I could become an illustrator, and I'm like, that would be cool. But you know what would be cool? To do tattoos on people, because the body's like a canvas, and if you see a person and their tattoos, it's really their personality and who they are printed on them. So if you see a guy that comes in, he's like full sleeved up with anime, he's a weeb. Straight up.
Pretty dead giveaway for sure.
Yeah, but it was something like that made me think that I could be that person in the middle, where I'm the one that's able to provide something for them that's special, and that emotional, and turn it into something really cool that I like. So that's where I'm at the moment. Just practice. Yeah.
Awesome. And talking about the tattoos, literally we had hopped on call together, and I was like, holy shit, you have so many tattoos now. Can you fill me in a little bit on the inspiration behind each one, and which one would you say is your favorite so far, at least? What are some of the stories behind that?
So this one I got more recently, the Sheikah Slate. I honestly didn't know where I wanted to get it. I was gonna get it on my neck, but I was like, nah, I kind of want to see it, and I've always wanted a hand tattoo. So I ended up like just drawing around and seeing how it would look on my hand, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get that. And in the game, Link always has his hand out, and his hand shines with like the Sheikah, and so I was just like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. And then with this one, we got Shinji. This was literally, I walked past and it's Shinji, isn't it? No. What's his name? Evangelion. What's his name?
I haven't watched. Linktree would be frowning upon me.
Yeah,
I haven't watched yet.
Me with his Canadian hammer right now. But yeah, anyway, this guy, I'm pretty sure it's Shinji. He was literally a flash tattoo. So I was walking past a tattoo store, and I saw him on like this board, and he was like $200, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So I just walked in and got it. Yeah. I was just like, okay, I'll go get this one. And this one here, I've had this for quite a while, but the funny thing about this one is I walked in with like this clip ass looking like really bad mask with like a sword. It looked bad, and I was just like, no, I'm gonna get this tattoo. This is gonna look sick. And the lady's like, looks at it. She looks at me and she's like, can you give me like half an hour just with this drawing? I might just do a few things to it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know about that, but alright. And she comes out with this, and I'm just like, how am I supposed to pay for that? What the hell? You change the whole thing, you just redrew it. And she's like, no, it's like, I'm not charging you any extra. I'm just making it look better. And I was like, yep, okay. Get me.
That's real.
Get me.
That's real, yep.
Yeah. But probably my favorite is definitely my leg. My leg is my baby, because I spent, so the outline of my leg alone was $900. Yeah. $900 to just do the outline. It still needs to be finished, but yeah, it's a really special piece. I drew it up myself, and the same lady who did that also did my leg, and she is so talented. She literally just got a texter and started drawing around my leg, and she's like, sweet, let's start tattooing. She didn't do any references or anything. She just knew how to do it. I don't know how, but yeah.
And so, like, just the outline itself, like, how many hours was that session? Like,
it was 10 hours.
In one sitting?
Yeah.
Damn.
My legs.
Can you take, like, a bathroom break? Or, like...
Yeah, I took a few, but...
Okay.
It was painful by the end. By the 8-hour mark, I was like, my leg was shaking from the pain. We got to 10 hours, and she said we had to stop because my leg was, like, getting really bad.
Yikes. Do you feel like you must at this point, but do you feel like you've gotten addicted to like tattoos? Like I hear, like I don't have one yet, but I hear once you start, it becomes an addiction.
I feel like the first one doesn't really feel like an addiction, but definitely by the second one, that's the ball rolling. You're just like, oof, I got 2 now. I could have 3. Or you'll find a gap, and you'll be like, I need this gap filled by something.
Yep.
And if you've got like OCD, or if you're like real pedantic about white space around you, especially if you have like neck tattoos and there's like a white space there, instantly you'll go in and be like, I need this space filled with something.
So, is the vision to get like fully inked? Like we talking like arms, legs, neck,
arms,
like
legs, neck, ears. Like I'm gonna get like parts of my ears done. Yeah, I'm gonna get my back and my chest done. Everything. Yeah.
Wow.
It'll be a journey.
Yeah, it sounds like it. When was your first tattoo? Like, how old were you? And...
Oh my god, my first tattoo. So, I hated tattoos. I always hated them growing up. I was like, I'm never gonna get a tattoo. Tattoos are nasty. You know who gets tattoos? Those gangster peoples. The hoodlums.
The Yakuza.
The Yakuzas, yeah. And I'm just like, nah, never. And one day, I was so angry. I had a bad day at work, and I'm just like, are these guys at work really pushing my buttons? and I've had enough. And I was driving home, and then I stopped at a traffic light, and then right beside me was a tattoo store, and just the flick of a switch in my head, I'm just like, I'm gonna walk in and get one. And so I got 4, and this was also around the time. Yeah, this was around the time when like C&D was like really popular, and he got his switch tattoo, and so it kind of like in my
2017-ish, like
yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get 4, not 1, because I couldn't decide on 1, so I got 4. So I got the Triforce, a Pokeball, the swords from Sword Art Online, like crossed over, and Sonic the Hedgehog's head. Yeah.
Just Sonic's head.
Yeah, and they're like all in like a straight line.
It's like on the back, like
yeah, like on my lower back, like down here. Yeah.
Wow, that's a story. Just one bad day at work, and it started the tattoo addiction. I mean,
yep. But then I didn't get my next tattoo till 2021. So that was like 2017 to 2021, and then after that, I was just like, I need more. I need to get more. I ended up getting my necks, like little ones on my neck done. I got one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like you said, like you're using your body just as the canvas. Like I think that's cool that you've, like even the one on your leg, you said you drew that up yourself. Like, and that's what I like. Like, it's cool to get Sonic's face tattooed on yourself if you're having a bad day at work. But I think it's the meaningful tattoos where like you drew them, or like they're a tribute to someone or something, some concept. Like I think those are the ones where it's like, that's awesome, like full support. Like
the craziest one I got was probably so I got quite wasted one night.
Oh.
And I was so down bad with the drinks. And I woke up the next day, and there on my chest was a tattoo. And I'll show you it.
Send it.
And I'm like, oh, where did I get? I had to backtrack. I went through my phone, looked at all like the receipts. I found it there. I called them up. I'm like, did I come through yesterday and get a tattoo and shit? And they're like, oh, it's the drunk guy. Yeah, we had to like hold you down because you kept moving. And I'm like, oh my god.
There's no policy like against like being drunk out of your mind. Like,
some of them will, some of them just find it so funny and will just tattoo you. Some other places will be like, nah, rack off. But
I mean, is there like legal trouble? Like you can't like, you walked in there, like that's your fault, like I don't know how that works, but
no.
I mean, hey, you kept it, so you clearly just won with, sending it and that whole mentality.
Yeah. And people will be like, why didn't you get rid of it? I'm like, nah, it was a part of the process.
It's a story.
It's a story.
It's a story. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. I feel like I could talk for hours upon hours about Australia and your pursuits, and I just think you're such like a creative person with so many stories clearly at this point. But unfortunately, we don't want the episode to get too long. But I do want to end with one last question, and that's just, what can we expect for the future from you? Whether it's personal projects, obviously you've done music, you dabbled in that, the tattoos, the content, you balance so many things. So where should the audience and the community turn to next to view your next pieces of work and show you some support?
Definitely back to content creation, especially when I have more time. I definitely want to get back into that. The only reason why I paused is because like work and school were just like hectic, too much to juggle. But it's definitely something that I'll be jumping back into. But also like my art, like more drawing, figuring out my own style and learning ways to draw the way I like it and finding myself in that. And then tattooing, like that's where I'm at right now.
Do you ever think you could take like the tattooing, like do you want to make your own business out of it? Like is that how that's the direction? Yeah, that's
why I got this space. So I can set up shop here, and like I can turn it into what I see in my head and turn it into a whole room. I have like lights everywhere, have like anime figurines all over the show and music blaring like the ultimate anime beats while I'm like buzzing away at someone's arm or leg or something like that. Like that's a dream.
Sick. I know now when I want my first tattoo, I'm booking a flight to Australia.
100%.
I'm dodging the spiders and going straight to that room.
Don't forget the magpies. Those are the ones you gotta dodge.
Yes, the magpies. You're gonna have to take me around for all that food. You're gonna have to tap me up. And, you know, I'm finally gonna be able to bring everything we just talked about in this podcast and all our past conversations, finally bring it to life. Like, it definitely sounds like a whole new world out there. And, you know, same to you, definitely. When you finally come out to America for the first time, I think it'll be really cool for, you know, the whole community and viewers to just see your reaction to some things. Your first foiled burger.
Oh my god, I still can't believe you guys do that. That's insane to me.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on the second ever episode of Behind the Creator. I think it was awesome that you finally got to share a little bit about Australia and some of your own pursuits. And I appreciate, you know, opening up about it all and sharing it with me, man.
Hell yeah. It's been a good time.
Oh yeah, bro. Well, guys, as always, please subscribe. I don't know what I was trying to say there. To Torisu. Leave a follow on Twitch. Follow all the social medias. Is there anywhere where we can see your tattoo designs? Have you made like a page for that yet?
Yeah,
or...
so I got an Instagram and my TikTok as well. So if you wanted to check out my designs, you can just go on there. It's I think Torisu Art, and then my TikTok is just Torisu Art again. I think. Yeah. But check them out.
Okay. Definitely gonna have to try to remember to link all that in the description so you guys can check it out. Give my boy some support. If you ever are trying to travel to Australia, whichever way he is in the video, you know, you now know your man. So make sure you go on over to Torisu. But yeah, like I said, man, thank you so much for coming on the episode. As always, stay radical. Until the next one. I don't know who the next guest will be, but these Behind the Creator episodes have been super, super fun to film, because we're just having genuine conversations with the boys, you know? That's all it is. But maybe we'll bring a girl one day. Maybe we'll swap it up. We'll see. All right, guys. Peace out. Do you have an outro? I don't know. Is there a catchphrase?
No, I kind of just stole yours, bro. What was your Radda News one?
It was probably, I feel like most videos I say, thank you so much, boys and girls. Stay radical. Peace out. Did I have a Radda News one?
Oh, I swear you did. Remember, I tried to copy it, and then it was just like a skit. And this whole.
I'm honored. But whatever Torisu's loading outro is, it's coming in the future.
My name is Radical, and I'll see you in the next episode. Radda News.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best way to end it. All right. This podcast is dragging now. We're getting weird. Peace out, and we'll see you guys in episode 3. Have a good night.